there are some people coming, so like you can start by 6:05, I guess.
Okay. By the way, is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible.
So your screen is visible.
Okay, thank you.
I guess over 95 people have joined, so you may start the session.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then I'll start. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I'll start, Raghav.
Yes, yes, proceed.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for this workshop. I'm Abhiram Anne, an electronics and communication student. I just completed my third year. So first, I'd like to thank Bolt IoT for giving me this opportunity. And again, thank you everyone for joining me for this workshop. Uh, this session, I will conduct this session in the following order. First, we'll have a brief overview, and then we'll talk about the project, briefly talk about the project. Then we'll see the software and hardware requirements of the project, and then we'll go over the code, and then the connections, and then we'll see the working. And then if you have any questions, you can ask me at the end. So the overview about EVM. So first, what is an EVM? We know in a democracy, election is a key issue when it comes to deciding who is the next leader or representative. Before EVMs or electronic voting machines, election was held using a ballot paper. So what basically a ballot paper is, it is a paper on which an eligible voter would mark his or her preference and then drop it in a box, and then they would collect all those papers and evaluate who has must the majority votes. And actually, this system was slow and tedious, and it often led to cheating. So EVMs were invented. EVMs is the short for electronic voting machines. They were electronic devices specifically designed for people to cast their votes. So what happened is what happens right now is each candidate or participant has his own button dedicated. So when the person who wants to vote uh, presses that specific button, it gets recorded electronically, and all those results cannot be tampered with since it's an electronic machine. So now coming to the project that I made. It is actually a simple project, and even beginners can do it. There are not many special requirements for this project to get completed. So on the software side, there's just the Arduino IDE, the Bolt Cloud, and the Bolt IoT app. You would know this Bolt IoT application just at the initial stages while setting up your Bolt module. And then comes the hardware part. The hardware just contains the Bolt Wi-Fi module, Arduino board. It can be any module. I used the Nano board, so the same code would apply for the Uno board too. And then the LCD. I've used the LCD module with the I2C communication module. That is because it actually helps to decrease the number of connections between the Arduino board and the LCD board. So I'm sure you might have known there are like too many connections between the LCD module and the Arduino board. You have to connect to this digital pins and the analog pins. When you use the I2C module, it is only limited to 4 connections with the Arduino board. So it is a bit simpler. And then we'll just need a couple of push buttons and the breadboard. And these push buttons each of those push buttons will be representing a candidate in our case. Now, as I said, it is a relatively simple project. Let us first start and go over the code and let us get an understanding out of it. So this is the code. I've put the link in the presentation, so you can. It is a public link, so you can anyone can take in this code. So okay, there are basically it looks lengthy, but it is actually very simple once you try and understand. So there are about 9 variables, and the first 4 are for each person. Now these number of variables will increase and decrease based upon the number of candidates. Now I have 4 candidates, so that means 4 people who want to participate in the election. So then, therefore, I have 4 empty variables initialized to 0. So when you press the specific button, it gets incremented by 1. So there's person A, person B, person C, and person D. You can put your names. And then we have 4 buttons for each of those people. So each of those button has its own variable, button 1, button 2, button 3, and button 4. And then we have a specific and I have added another switch to calculate to actually compare the number of votes received by all of these people. It will compare the result, and then it will display it on the LCD module, and also it will be displayed on the Bolt dashboard. Now, next part is the liquid is for the LCD module. So this is just the library for the LCD module to be used that is using the I2C communication protocol with the Arduino. Now, actually, you don't need the I2C module. It is actually optional, but you can use the I2C module to actually simplify the number of connections. So that is only the reason I have used the I2C module. Now, since I've used the I2C module, it works based on address. So it references the components based on address. So the LCD's address is 0x27, and then the number of columns and rows are mentioned here. That is a 16:2 typical LCD module. And then this is the important library that we have to include, because this will help the Bolt module and the Arduino module, Arduino board to communicate with each other, and they'll be actually communicating using UART protocol. It is a very simple protocol. It actually only has 2 connections, the RX and TX. RX of the Arduino board, that is R means RX and TX. Those are the receiving and transmission pins. RX pin of the Arduino is connected to the TX of the Bolt module, and then TX of the Arduino is connected to the RX of Bolt module. And then we have the setup. We are initializing. We are starting the serial communication. We have the Bolt module. Since I'm actually using there are 2 ways you can establish the communication between the Bolt module and the Arduino module. it is via hardware serial communication or the software serial communication. You can go, you can actually look at them right here. And also you have it is I highly recommend going over the documentation of the bolt, because it is very clearly very clearly organized, and you can see everything over here. And they explain everything, giving examples and code snippets over here, so you can take these code snippets and understand. So as I said, the Arduino library that you include with the Arduino sketch, Arduino code, it communicates using the serial communication. So that's hardware and software based. So if you want to use the hardware mode, these are the following connections. Uh, Now I use the serial communication because just to have the freedom of selecting what digital pins I want. So if you scroll down in the documentation, you can see this interfacing via software serial port. So you can think of this as the Arduino board, and then this is your bolt module, and these are the digital pins that I've mentioned right there. So these are the digital pins of the Arduino board that will be acting as receiving and transmitting pins of the Arduino board between the bolt module and the Arduino board. And then we have a sample code to get you started. So all of these are explained in a very detailed manner. So whenever you get stuck or want to know how to use specific things, you can go to this documentation and learn all about it. And then after defining the pins, I have just initialized the LCD module. I just turned on the backlight, which is again also optional. And then and this can be important. So when you connect a switch to the Arduino board, you usually connect a resistor, which is called the pull-up resistor, which will enable the Arduino board to exactly detect whether if it is pressed or not. So actually, you can eliminate that external pull-up resistor by using the internal resistance of the Atmega chip that is being used by the Arduino board. So when you give this line pin mode 7 input pull-up, what happens is the pull-up resistor of the Atmega chip is being used, so you can you don't need to use an external resistor. So all of those I have 5 switches, so four of each switch for one candidate and one for result switch. So all of they are here. And then we come to the loop. Each of these buttons that we are going to connect to the Arduino board has a digital read. So when you press the button, it gets one. It means one vote is being casted to that specific person. So if you press the switch, then the button it is activated. So that means a logic 0. So and then so that means a logic 0. So if the button 1 is pressed, it is equal to 0. So that the value is 0. So what happens is it calls this function increase a. So what basically happens here in this function is that the variable of that particular person gets incremented by 1. And then we have button 2, button 3, and button 4 respectively. Each of these buttons, when they're pressed, their logic level becomes 0. The logic level becomes 0, and the respective functions are called. So I'll just show the function. So here it is. So let us say the first button is pressed. So the button 1 is logic 0, and then the increase a function is called, and you come to this increase function. Now it will clear the LCD module, whatever's on the display. It will print that person A. That means you press the board for person A, and then you can see this person A plus plus. That means the value of that person, the vote number is increased. So 0 becomes 1. And let us say you have pressed the button two times. So again, it will come here, and then the person P variable, that is 0 initially, will become 2. And that's all. Basically, that's all. When you now let us say you press the calculate button, it will go to the result function, which is over here at the last. Yeah, and then what happens here is basically each of these persons, that means each of these variables are compared with each other. So let us say person A has the majority votes, so that variable is the biggest. So when the condition becomes true that person A has the most number of votes, then these are printed on the serial on the LCD module. So person A won with the number of votes. So person A, it is a variable. So the number of votes are printed and then the votes, and that's all. And then it will on the next line, it will say person A has won with let us say 4 number of votes. And as I said, all of this data, that means all of the votes that are being casted and are recorded into those variables are pushed into the cloud onto the Bolt dashboard. So this is the command that will be useful for pushing the data. Bolt IoT dot process push command, person A, person B, person C, and person D. And the way you type in the variables here has has to matter, because the first variable is the first variable also in the cloud. So let you have given person A, so that is the first data value that is being transmitted, and then the second one, and then the third one, and then the fourth one. So this is also the order of the data receiving on the cloud side. And you can also look at you can also learn about these learn about how this command works and what it does in the GitHub link that is provided by the Bolt. So everything is organized over here too. You can learn about every command and what that specific command does, and how the Bolt module functions. And then even in the documentation, you can learn you can actually learn all about the Bolt module. You have tutorials on how to get started with the Bolt module. You can learn all about making projects with the Bolt module over here. They have a couple of projects. You can see them here and here and here. So when you can actually buy this component, Bolt IoT module, and then when you buy this, you can go ahead and make all these projects, and then think about making your own projects. But what I recommend is you can get the Bolt IoT course. So although you can go ahead and read these in the document, if you get the course, it is well structured, and trust me, it has a lot of things that they touch upon, and you'll get to learn a lot. So I just recommend taking a course to get started. That's all. And so all of those functions are here. And then okay, let us take a look at the code that is used by the Bolt module on the cloud to represent the data that is being received. So this is the code. Yeah, so this is the code that I have used. So again, all of this is also available on the documentation. If you can actually search for it. Yeah, over here. So you can learn all about how to represent the data that is being received by the Bolt module onto the cloud dashboard. You have different types of graphs: line graph, bar graph, scatter graph, and all of these and all of these have their own code snippets. So you can really understand well over here, and then all of those commands have their own explanation. So you will never get stuck over here. So this is also where I came to take help for completing my project. And 1 second, I'll go back. Yeah. So let me go over this short code again. 1 second. Yeah. So first var graph. This is the just the name of the graph. This is initializing the graph to plot the data. And then we set the type of chart. That means if I want a line graph, I type line graph. And then if I want a scattered plot, so I can type a scattered plot. I can show you here. Now let us say you want to you want to have a scatter graph. So that looks like this. Now if you want this, you can just go over here and then try and understand what it means. Now here too, set chart type. So scatter graph. So when you use this line, the type of graph that is being printed on the dashboard is like this. It is in a scattered manner. uh, and again, you can also use an area graph. So again, here too, set chart type. So when you use this line and just replace the line graph with area graph, you can get the following graph. So I've just used the simple line graph to display all the data. Now the remaining part, the first variable will be timestamp. The second variable, as I said, the order of the variables that you pass to the cloud will matter, because the first data that I'm transmitting is person A, the first person's votes. So that should be here. The variable name does not need to match, but the order of the votes. So if you want to pass the second person's votes, the variable name can be anything over here. But it will be if you put that person's the second person's vote in the first position while transmitting. Like let us say you have put the person B over here. So that means the person's B vote will be the first one to be sent, first data. So that means that data will be present in this, that data will be assigned to this first variable, that is CSV0, person A. So that is why I've mentioned that all of the data that you that you send using this command will matter. So person A will be the first data, person B will be the second data, person C will be the third data, and person D will be the fourth data. And all of that is in order over here. You don't need the actual names. You can keep any name here, any variable name here, but the order will be important. Okay. Now the comp. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, we have seen all the components. So there are not many, just the Bolt module and the Arduino Nano or Arduino Uno board, and then the LCD, and then the push buttons. The connections are very simple. After showing this, I'll show you a live demo of the working of the project. So first, the connection to the switches is very simple. One pin of the each switch is connected to the common ground. So all of the switches need a ground. So each of all of those switches is connected to a common ground for the Arduino board on the breadboard. And then each of the other pins of those switches is connected to whatever digital pins that you define on the Arduino board. So I've used the following pins, right? Pin number 7, 5, 4, and 3. So these are the pins that I'll connect each of these switches. So the first switch I'll connect to 7, the second switch I'll connect to 5, the third switch, and then the fourth switch, and then the fifth switch, which is for result, to the 12th pin. And then that is all for the switches. And then LCD module. Now I2C is again optional. So if you want, you don't need to use the I2C module, but I recommend using it because actually when you use all these switches, there are a huge number of connections, which I'll show you right now. So if you can use the I2C module, it would be less number of connections. So the I2C module connections are very simple. You connect the ground of the module to the Arduino. You give the 5 volts of the Arduino to VCC of the module, and then SDA to A4 of Arduino, which is the dedicated pin on the Arduino. SCL of the module to A5 of Arduino, and then we come to the connections with the board module. So as I said, it is very simple. There are only two connections, which is for receiving and transmitting data. Now you can actually omit these two connections, because you can power the bolt module using any wall adapter or any battery. So these are the connections that you would need. So RX and TX pin of bolt module. So RX. So what you do is the RX pin on the Arduino board is connected to the TX pin on the bolt module, and the TX pin on the Arduino board is connected to the RX pin of the bolt module. So you have reverse connections, RX and TX. So 1 second, I'll show you the demo right now. Raghav, I'll stop sharing my screen for a second to turn on my camera. I guess.
Yeah, not an issue.
Turn on my
Uh,
Could you tell me if it is visible, right? The setup is visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
So I guess you can see the green and blue LEDs in the boot module. So that means it is successfully connected to the internet. Again, one second.
सर एक्चुअली स्क्रीन विजिबल नहीं हो रही है.
Oh,
No, it's
no, no.
visible. I guess.
I've actually turned on my camera.
Yeah.
I've stopped my screen share.
Yeah. His screen is
Okay, sir.
visible. Can you just? Are you able to see his video? Just pin his video. Yeah.
Yes sir, of course.
Okay. So here is the LCD module. As I said, there are only 4 connections when you use the I2C module. So a lot of connections are decreased right now. And this is also the reason I've told to use the I2C module, because the number of connections for these switches are like too many. So if you don't use the I2C
entire
module,
circuit is not visible. Like the LCD is not in the camera and the bolt is not in the camera. So like, if you
okay,
can
1 second.
your camera.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so I guess you can see there are only 4 connections over here for the I2C module. When you use the I2C module, if you don't use an I2C module, then you might need a lot more connections. So that's all. And then you can see the 2 lights on the board module. That means it is connected to the internet. Now again, you can learn about how to connect the bolt module to the internet by following the guide in the documentation. Again, it is very detailed in a detailed manner. So all of these, I don't know if it is clearly visible, but all of these switches represent one person. So let us say if I press the first person, this is person A. So this is displayed on the LCD module. So I guess you can see person A has been displayed on the LCD module. And then let us say the person.
I guess the display on the LCD is not clear because of the brightness.
Yeah, okay, it's okay, no problem. When I share the screen, it will be visible on the dashboard.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to press 3 times for the person B. So that means person B will have 3 votes. Now, let us also give person C and person D 1 or 2 votes. So, okay, so I've casted 1 vote for person A, 4 votes for person B, and each vote for person C and D. So, all of that is printed on the LCD module. Now, there's another switch just to see on the LCD module who has won. But all of this data is anyways transferred to the cloud. So, let us again take a look at the let me share my screen once again. Yeah, so is my screen visible again?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so here, one second, I'll. So this is the this is the dashboard of the
It's not
Bolt
visible.
IoT.
It's not visible currently. Just can you please reshare or something?
Okay, I'll reshare one second. Yeah, I've shared it once again. Could you tell me if it is visible?
Um, yeah, I guess it's loading right now. I can only see your mouse pointer and yeah, now it's visible. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the cloud cloud dashboard of the Bolt module. So the products, that means each of the projects that you create
Now
are
it's not visible. Uh, can you please just share your entire screen? I guess you were sharing some tab or something. That's why.
oh, I've actually shared my entire screen. Okay, I'll actually right now I'll share the
Browser only.
browser only. Yeah, I've shared only the browser right now.
Yeah, I guess it's loading 1 minute. Have you opened your browser? I guess.
Yeah, I have opened my browser.
I guess it is not visible yet. Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yeah, now it's visible.
So okay, so we are in the products section of this page. So what products is basically all of the projects that you create. So each project needs a specific configuration. Now you can program the Bolt module to act as an input device or an output device. So I'll just show that basically. So when you press add a project and then press create new project, you can see that right here. You can either use the Bolt module as an input device or an output device. And then
Now,
also you could,
yeah, it's visible. Yeah, continue.
yeah, yeah, okay. And you can also tell the Bolt module how you would like to communicate with it, either using GPIO pins and then using UART. So I've used UART so to establish a connection between the Arduino module and the Bolt module. So that's all. And then you type in the name right here. And then you press done, and then you could program the module. So this is the product that I've created for the EVM, and then I can just here configure the product. So I can go to hardware, and then see, you can see here the number of data points you want. So I have 4 currently. So that means I have 4 candidates. You can go up to maximum 7 points. So that means you can have about 7 participants for the election. And then you have the interval. That means this interval is for the bolt module. So it is 5 minutes here. So that means the bolt module will read the data of those variables every 5 minutes, and then it will upload the data to the cloud. And then again, you can upgrade to the 30 seconds interval, but you would need a Bolt Cloud Pro for that. You would need a subscription for that, for the cloud, Pro features. And then that's all. So all of this data is requested by the Bolt module every 5 minutes, and that is displayed on the dashboard. So 1 second. Yeah, so this is the view this device. So when you press this option, you can see the data that is that has been transmitted to the Bolt module. So as I said, I have given one vote to person C and person D. So that's person C and person D. Oh, 1 second. No, I think I pressed okay, only one time for person D then. Yeah, I've given one vote to person D, and then as I said, I've given most number of votes to person B. So he has the most number of votes. So that is 1 second. So that is seven times. So I've given 7 votes for person B, and then I have given 5 votes for person A, and then 4 votes for person C, and then 1 vote for person D. So this is how all of the data is transmitted to the cloud, and you can actually share all of this data by using this link, and you can give this link to anyone so that anyone can monitor the election results. So yeah, actually what happened is I had previous variable data saved in each of those variables, so that is why it just added. But actually I have given 1 vote for all of these person A, person C, and person D, and 4 votes for person B. Since I had previous data, it just added to that. So that's what happened. But if you actually restart the module, you can get fresh values right here. This is just the history. So all of that is added. So that is how you can make an EVM using a Bolt module in the Arduino module. So yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that is all for the project, guys. It is a very simple project, and there are not many requirements to complete this project. And you can actually go to this link and take this code and do whatever you want to do with it. It is public. And then if you want to make further developments, such as you can add a buzzer to the system, so that whenever a person casts a vote, he does not press the second time. So whenever one candidate presses the vote button, the buzzer will give a sound, so the other people will know that this person has casted his vote and he has to go away. If he presses the second time, that means the buzzer will give an alarm again the second time. So that means he's cheating. So you can do further inclusions to the project, and you can do whatever you want. All of that code is present here on this link. If you follow that link, all whatever code I have used for the Arduino board, and also the code that I've used for the Bolt module, it is present at the last in a commented format. So that is all. So again, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Again, thank you for Bolt for giving me this opportunity to conduct this workshop, and also thank you Raghav for helping me out throughout the session. And again, thank you everyone for joining in this session. I hope you have learned something.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I'm having
okay.
one query over here.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, everyone, please.
Can you please show the output?
Yeah, 1 second. This one?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
So
visible?
can you please click on download data? What will be the data that will be shown that I want to just see?
Yeah.
Here there is a download data button.
Yeah. So what happens
Can
is you
you
can download it in CSV format. So if you download it in CSV format, you can get the data in. You can open this file in an Excel sheet in MS Excel. So 1 second, I'll open that too.
Okay.
I'll share that window. Yeah.
But
Is
okay,
it
so
visible?
this is yes, I'm able to see it. So this is the data that we have just given, right? You have given us is given during the demo,
Yeah.
but the previous data is also there. You said that there is some history.
Yeah, I actually turned on and checked the module if it was working or not, like final check. So all of the data was there. But if you just turn off the module and then also you can delete this data by going back to the right here. 1 second.
No, actually I want the previous data also. So can we get
So,
that data
yeah,
as well?
definitely. If you can, yeah, this all of this data is being stored. So if you, 1 second.
Yeah.
I guess you can see the dashboard again.
Yes, dashboard.
So can you see the drop down over here?
Yes.
So you have these options. So if I press 1 year, that means all of the data that I've collected over the year is, I guess it's visible right now for you. Is it visible?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
visible.
so this is all the data that I've just for fun using with my friends and then just for a demo. So
Okay.
all of that data is collected. So this is just an EVM, but you could connect this module with a ton of sensors, and all of that data can be saved over in the cloud. So let us say you want to use this data for machine learning purpose. So
Okay.
then you could get Bolt Cloud Pro. That means it will decrease the request time to 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, you can get the sensor data and then save it over here. So, and then you could download that data, and it is very conveniently opening in an Excel sheet. So you
Okay.
can have all this data and feed it to your machine learning program.
Okay, and the last question is about the push data to cloud. So this
Yeah.
button will push the data that we have just here. We have you have selected 1 day. If I'm selecting 1 year, then the whole data will be pushed to cloud, right?
Actually, what push data to cloud does is when you run that command, whatever data, actually, as I said, let us say every 5 minutes, the Bolt module will automatically ask to collect the data and then it will publish to cloud. So when you run the command push data to cloud, so when you run this command, you are actually on demand transferring the data. So let us, so if you run this command right now, then the data that is present right now. So let us say you have a gap of 5 minutes. So after every 5 minutes, it will push the data, but you don't want that. You want to maybe transfer the data in about 3 minutes or like just right now. So you would run this command right now, and the Bolt module would collect that data and then push it right then and there. So that is the use of this command.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so like one person has raised their hands, I guess Arjun. So Arjun, you can unmute and ask your question.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, so I had a doubt. Where was the Arduino board used in this project? What's its use?
Yeah, I use the Arduino Nano board. It's actually on the breadboard. So the Bolt module does not have that many pins for connecting the switches. So what I've done is to connect those switches, I need pins. So I've used the Arduino Nano to connect those switches. and then all of that switch, when you press the switch, that data is recorded by the Arduino board, and then that is being transferred using the Bolt module. So that is all.
Okay,
That
so
is
it's
all.
just used like a shield.
Yeah, you can think of it like that.
Okay, understood.
You don't actually, for making projects using the Bolt module, you don't need any other things. You can do a lot of things with it, but the pins are a bit less, so you have to like have another microcontroller in serial communication with this.
So can't we just use another breadboard for increasing the number of pins?
I mean, you would need a shield for that. I actually think there are bigger boards for the Bolt module. I think Sagar, there's the bigger board for using it with this Bolt module as a shield.
Like there is one thing called Bolt Duino.
Bolt Duino, yeah.
In that the Bolt module and an Arduino chip, that mega chip is built in, so you can use it like it's a combo of Bolt and Arduino.
So you have more number of pins, and you have more flexibility.
Actually, still you have, if you want to access more pins, you still have to use UART. The Bolt module there also provide only the standard 5 GPIO pins. And yeah, the rest pins are like normal Arduino pins. So basically, you don't have to like separately purchase an Arduino and a Bolt. It's like both embedded together and connected through UART.
Okay, understood. So basically, like this Bolt chip, it's basically like an Arduino Nano, but with Wi-Fi connectivity.
Yeah, it's an ESP chip actually. It's manufactured by
Yeah.
Expressive. Yeah, so you can
Okay,
think
understood.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess there were some questions in the chat too. Like, yeah, some people have asked some questions in the chat. Yeah, if anyone has a question, just please don't send a direct message to me. Just write it in the chat.
Okay, I think okay,
Yeah,
I'll share
so
the code link here. 1 second.
I guess there is this question from Praveen Kumar: how to collect the data from different Volt module and process in one graph?
Different Bolt module. Wait 1 second. So you want to connect different Bolt modules and then process the data, right?
Yeah, Praveen, can you unmute and elaborate on
I've
it?
actually never tried that, but I guess that's possible. Hello?
And like we have one more question. This is from Nikhil Mahajan. This is, can we use this data for further use, like by using ML algorithm for generating prediction?
Yes, definitely. Actually, if you take the Bolt course, you can learn about how to use the data. So yes, you can use this data for training. It's actually in the course also. If you take it, it will be very useful, because they like touch upon a lot of things using different services or online services for creating alerts, and then even for machine learning. They get you a head start. They get you a head start, so you can pick up from there.
Yeah, and there is one question from Omkar. He's saying, sir, in the code, why there is button equals 0? Why not button equal 1?
Thought there might be a question. So okay. So okay, I'll have to explain this. So coming to the Arduino board, let us say you have not connected any switch. So what do you think the logic level would be? So it will actually oscillate between ones and zeros. So when you connect a switch, you employ a resistor, pull-up resistor. So what the purpose of this pull-up resistor? it will help the Arduino board to understand whether the switch has been pressed or not. So actually, when you press the switch, it means it is logic 0. And when you release the switch, it means it is high logic, that is logic level 1. So now you might have understood that I've not used any external resistor because the Atmega chip has its internal resistance. Now using the code, you can access that internal resistance. So if you can access the link, you will find this pull-up resistor, input pull-up. So when you use that word, so what it does is it will employ the internal resistance as a pull-up resistor. So now the Arduino module will know if you have pressed the switch or not. Now, if you press the switch, it means logical 0. So that means it is low. It is in low condition. Now, if you release the switch, that is in high condition. So I guess a lot of people might assume that if you press the switch, it might be a logic high, but that is wrong. So when you press the switch, it is logic 0. So when I press the switch, it is, since it is 0, that is why I have put equal to 0.
Yeah, and there is question from Rushikesh. He says, please show pin connection and source code. So like you will be sharing the link to the source code and the presentation also, right?
Yes,
you
it
can
is on.
you can just
Share it.
upload your presentation on Google Drive and like you can share that link.
Yeah, I'll do that right now then.
Yeah,
One second.
Sumit is saying, sir, can I learn Python? Yes, you can, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's also in the course. So
yeah,
if you get the course, you'll also learn
yeah.
Python.
Now, Bittu is asking, sir, for sending data to cloud, what are you using?
I'm using the Bolt module. As I've said, it has internet capability. So it is collecting the data from the Arduino board and then uploading it to the cloud. So I guess that's.
Yeah, and Vijay is asking, sir, can you post the circuit diagram of this project? So I guess the circuit diagram will be in that slides, right?
I don't have the circuit connections exactly. I just have mentioned the connections, but it should be easy for you to follow.
So you have mentioned
I'm
which
uploading
pin
it to the cloud
connected.
right now.
Yeah. So you have mentioned which
One
pin is
second.
connected where.
Yeah, I've mentioned all of that
Yeah.
clearly.
So I guess that would be pretty easy. And again, one question from Bittu, sir, Bolt is open source and can we write it without paying? No, the Bolt firmware is not open source, and to connect to the Bolt cloud, you will have to use a Bolt module. I guess for Bolt Cloud Pro users, Raspberry Pi is also supported, but
Yes,
then you have
yes.
to pay for the Bolt Cloud Pro. So you cannot use it without like purchasing the module or like paying for the Cloud Pro. So again, we have another question, and this is from Vijay. He says, "Sir, can you post the circuit diagram?" Yeah, we will. Is Bolt is ESP8266? Yes, it is. Sir,
Um,
what is button equal 0? Again from Umsen. So I guess you have already
yeah,
explained it,
yes.
and you have shared the link to the PPT.
No, I've not
Also.
shared the link. I've just uploaded the
Yeah, yeah,
PPT, but I'll also share the link.
yeah, you have shared the PPT. Okay. And so if anyone has any questions or if anyone's question is missed, you can just raise your hand and Abhiram will be answering the same. Anyone, any questions? Just raise your hand or post it in the chat. Yeah, Om Sen has sent a question mark. He's I think he's still not clear about like this button equal 0. So like he's using the pull up register, right? So that's pulling it
Yeah,
to high by default. So
yeah.
by pressing that button, you are actually shorting it to ground. That's why it becomes logic 0.
Logic 0.
Yeah.
That is why when it becomes logic 0, it means that you have pressed the button. So that means your intent is to cast a vote to that person. So it will call that specific function and then increment the data variable.
Yeah, and any other links you use, like the for looking at the bolt documentation, you can go to docs.boltiot.com. There you can check out the documentation which Abhiram was showing. I'm pasting the link to that also here.
I've actually sent it below.
Yeah, okay,
Docs to-
thanks. And anything else you used, any other platform or something? Yeah, you have shared all the links.
Yeah.
And um, yes, you can learn Python. Can we use this project in open source like Arduino Cloud or Blink? No, Bolt module only connects to Bolt Cloud. However, you can use the Bolt APIs to
Get the
uh,
data.
get it and use it anywhere you want. So
Again, that is also taught in the course, so
yeah,
it will be very useful. Okay.
and Sumit is writing. Please, yeah, Sumit, please unmute yourself and ask your question. We have not received your question actually.
Where where I get Bolt's APK? Oh, I guess he wants the application.
Yeah,
APK.
so that's on the Play Store. You can just type Bolt Cloud and you will get it from there. Any other questions? Yeah, you can ask your questions verbally also. And yeah, so one more question is there. And yeah, you have also posted the link to the app. So this is from uh, Suchitra. She says, if we want to learn cloud computing from a Bolt from scratch, how do we get it?
Uh, you you can get the Bolt course actually, or else if you want to get started. I mean, if you're a beginner,
Yeah, you can get the course from trainings.boltiot.com. Let me just paste the link for that too. Just a second. Okay, so here is the link. You can buy the course from there. And
you will also get the kit with the course. So
yeah, you will get all the components, so it would be great. And one question from Surekha. She says, hi, I'm new to IoT. How to begin with it?
uh, okay. If you're new to IoT, then actually maybe learn a little bit of C programming and then just get into making projects. So when you make projects, that is where you learn the most. Uh, 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 and when you level up, like when you start making like basic projects, like pressing a button, blinking an LED, and then you advance to better and bigger projects, you'll definitely face a lot of challenges. I mean, things you will not understand. And then there are electronics. I mean, you need electronics concepts, and then also need to have a coding knowledge. So maybe you could learn a bit of coding for now, I mean, at the beginning, and then just dive into projects, get some components, and then dive into projects. That is, I guess, the best way to get into it.
Yeah, and Bitto is asking, can we get drive link where all the data and code available? I guess you have shared all the slides and codes and all.
Yeah,
So yeah, he wants a drive link. So I guess you can check all the links there, or yeah, you can just scroll through the chat and you will find everything. So again, we have this, where is, yeah, so yeah, so Om senses this class is very helpful. Thank you, sir. And
thank you.
yeah, now we have a question from Vijay. He says, sir, I am recently joined IoT course. I don't know minimum basics of Arduino. Can I learn IoT and with ML course? I guess he has joined the Bolt IoT and ML training.
Yeah, maybe. Vijay, I mean, can you give it clear?
Uh, shall I repeat the question?
No, I've seen the question. I too don't understand. Recently joined IoT course. I don't know minimum basics of coding. No,
Yeah,
if you've joined the bold course, then they will actually even learn. I mean, make you learn basic coding. So that is not a problem. You just need to learn and go through the course.
yeah, you don't need to know much about the Arduino platform to use Bolt IoT. Yeah, so if you have joined that training, in that they will teach you from the very basics of electronics itself. So you don't need any electronics knowledge too. So that would be fine. Uh, Again,
Okay.
Sureka says, thanks for answering my question. Thanks for fantastic session. Now, I
So
guess
once
the
I'll share my LinkedIn.
question, yeah, there is a question from, I guess, Piyush, how will learning IoT will help IT engineer
IT
in
engineer.
their career?
Not sure. One second. I mean, if you want to if you want to become an IT engineer, then you're basically more towards computer side. I don't think you need a lot of electronics to go with. I mean, you will be around computers a lot, but you won't be making such projects. So I, I don't think that is necessary.
Yeah, but it might help you in, like,
Yes.
if you want to get something specific, like collect some temperature data for some project from a particular area, then IoT might help you in your software job too. If, like, you need to collect weather data, or you need to monitor some plants or something, or for some industry work, it might uh, require, right? Then, yeah, next we have Omkar. He says, sir, please give your email
Yeah,
ID for
email
guidance.
ID. Yeah.
So, would you like to share your email ID
I
if you
guess
want?
I'll give my LinkedIn profile if they're on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so Omkar, just connect with him on LinkedIn if you're there.
1 second, I'll
Uh,
post the link. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, so now we have, I guess, Sumit is saying he's from electronics and communication branch only. Omkar says, but sir, we have a choice to choose CS in BTech or BE. Uh, I'm not sure what are you trying to ask. We have a choice to choose CS in BTech or BE. So, uh, can you answer this? Did you understand this?
I too did not understand that question.
I guess it's about
Send
BTech
it.
and we essentially the same thing, I guess. So yeah, Varun has sent direct message. Please don't send direct messages. Just post it in the so that everyone can see the question. So here she says, "Sir, I have applied for the course. Is this a part of course or is it extra?" Yeah, this is. Yeah, actually, this is for having some practical experience. These workshops are conducted by experts so that you can have some, like, learn about new projects and have some more practical experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not taught in the course. This is
Yeah,
just
this is
what
not.
I did.
Yeah,
If
this
you
is.
go to actually, you can see a lot more projects if you go to workshops
Yeah, there is
in Bolt.
this link. I guess I shared
Actually,
it.
actually, I have that open right now. I'll share that link.
Yeah, I also have it open. Also.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
shared with them personally. Okay, I will just share it in everyone also. Yeah, so this is the link, and for this session, the recording will be uploaded there once it has been edited and everything. So maybe in a week or two. And Varun is asking one more
Can I
question.
apply to unlimited number of these sessions? But
Yes, you
these
can.
sessions are free, so you can apply to any number of sessions you want.
Yes, yes. These sessions are for community and open for everyone, regardless of whether you are a student of a training or not. So you can even share it with your friends, and you can apply for unlimited sessions. There is no limit to it. And yeah, so uh, anyone has any other questions, you can just type in the chat or raise your hand or just directly speak up. Any questions? Just raise your hand or type in the chat. Even in case if you're typing, just raise your hand so we know that we need to continue the session a bit more. Sir, virtual making code language. This
I
is
did not understand that.
Yeah, you can just unmute yourself and like explain the
Ask.
question because like because that would be much more faster. Okay, your audio is not working, then just please type, just elaborate on the question. So and till then, if anyone has any questions, just raise your hand. So we have a question from Piyush. He says, "Sir, which course of Bolt IT should I take, which will help me in future? I am from IT branch." So yeah, I guess you can take web development training or AR training or voice apps training. These will help you in IT field itself. And if you want to learn a bit about IoT, you can try the robotics or the IoT and machine learning course. So it's up to you. You can. So there are like plenty of courses for IT field too. Like the web development training is there. The augmented reality training is there. The voice apps training is there, where you like learn to build apps using Alexa and the Google Assistant and all. So Om Sen was writing his question. Are you writing your question? Just post it once done. Till then, if anyone has any questions, just please raise your hand. Om Sen, are you writing your question? Can you just confirm that? Just raise your hand or something so that we know. Okay, yeah, he has written his question. So base of the language is C programming, but my question is some codings are virtually making and some codes are normal coded. Best coding language in use my future. Base of the language is C programming. Can you just answer this, Abhiram? Base of the question. This, can you just see this question? I guess. And we have another question from Chinmoy also.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll give a brief answer. Maybe if you want to just learn coding, if you want to get started, then maybe you could learn Python. But if you like have an aim to go into electronics, deep into electronics, and then maybe become an embedded engineer or go to IoT, then you would need C++. So you would, for even for programming Arduino board, you will use C language. And then for if you want to use Raspberry Pi, then you would use Python, MicroPython and Python. So you would need those two languages. And if you learn those two languages, they will also help you a lot. I mean, other than for making projects in general scenario also.
Yeah, and there is another question from Chinmoy. He says, sir, which courses should I take will help in mechanical branch? So for mechanical branch, I guess you can go with our this robotics training. So the robotics training will like teach you about like building some robots and mechanical parts. And you can also take the IoT and ML training. And yeah, you can just check out the trainings. I guess robotic training will be the best for you, but you can even look into web development. So if you want to like make some cool web interface for your robots or something, or if you want to control them using for example Google Home or Alexa or something, so for that you can take the voice apps training too. So basically every training is useful for everyone, but the most beneficial for you would be the robotics training, I guess. Anything else you would like to have, Abhiram?
Yes.
Anything else you want to add on this one?
No, no, I can't.
Yeah, so finally, anyone, if you have any question, just please raise your hand, even if you are going to type it, so that we know that we have to wait for you. So just quickly raise your hand, please, if you are any question. Anyone, any question? Just please raise your hand, even if you will be typing in the chat, then also raise your hand. I guess no questions. Yeah, just let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes more. So if anyone has to raise their hand, they can. So let's wait till 7:16. And
okay.
If you have any questions, just raise your hand. Even if you're typing in the chat, just raise your hand so we know. Okay, so a question from Piyush. He says, which languages should we learn in 4 years of engineering?
It depends on what you are going to do. Like depends on your branch. If you're into electronics, maybe if you're an electronics student, then C language and Python will be enough. If you're a CSE student, then you would know IT branch. Okay. I I think C and Python will be enough. I'm not sure really.
Yeah,
For
maybe.
IT branch is a C, Java, and Python.
Yeah, and you can go for JavaScript and everything. So for web development, yeah, you can. If you're from IT branch, you should learn as many languages as possible. Yeah, that would be great. And any other questions? Even if you are typing, please just raise your hand if you have any questions, because it's 7:15 already. So it would be great if you just let us know by raising your hand if you have any question, and otherwise we'll be ending the session. No questions? Once again, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Abhiram is there to answer it. I guess no hands, so I guess there are no more questions. So yeah, thank you, Abhiram, for taking this wonderful session and answering all the questions. So now we will be ending this session. So yeah, no more questions, I guess. So now we should end the session. Yeah, Abhiram, shall we end? Okay, so there is
Yeah.
one more
Okay.
person is joining right now. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, let's check with them. Yeah, so one person has joined, I guess, Sanika. So the session has already ended, but you will get the recording for it at I guess, yes, I'm sharing the link here. So you'll be getting the recording at this link, and I guess no more questions. So we will be ending the session now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Raghav, again for helping me through the session.
Yeah, thank you for taking this wonderful session. Okay. And like, if you have any general queries about the Bolt module or anything, you can put it on forum.boltiot.com. And usually I answer all the questions there within a day. And yeah, so I'm sharing the link to the forum also. So there you can post any questions regarding the Bolt module or anything that regarding this session also, if you didn't understand anything with the code or anything, and I will be there to answer. Okay, so I will be ending the session. Yeah, so thank you, Abhiram, for this wonderful session. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.